to Online Darts. We are here in the Big Apple ahead of the New York Darts Masters, and we've got Gary Anderson. Gary, you've been to many wonderful places in the world, but this is a new one for you.
Very first time, very first time in New York. So yeah, I've spent a couple of days walking about, a few boat trips and that, seeing a few of the sights. It's been good.
We know you're one that loves Vegas. How does this compare?
Unfortunately, Vegas wins, hands down, no matter what. No, but it's nice that, we've been to Vegas a good few times, so it's nice to try different cities. First time New York, it's been an eye-opener.
You've played in many magical cities as well, venues from Dubai, Sydney, you name it, you've been there. However, as a dart player to play at Madison Square Garden, that must be a special moment even for you.
Well, that's it. When you mention the place, now you think of Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, all the great boxers, all the great fights that's actually took place here. I'm not worried about the darts, but the boxing, Tommy's had a lot of boxers across here, and he says this is where a boxing match should be held, the one and only. But yeah, it's good.
What would it mean to you to win this first one as well? Because although you've played well in Vegas and won in Vegas, here to be the first name to win at Madison Square Garden for any of you would be a special moment.
Oh, definitely. The boys will think the same. Unfortunately, back in Vegas when I won it, I was actually playing all right. My darts are absolutely shocking just now, but I'm just going to persevere. Sometimes there's a sign of it. I just need to double my work schedule. But as we know at this time, it's very hard for me now, and can't do two things at once.
We saw you go back to the infamous darts that you won everything with as well at the Premier League. Was that by accident, or was that a premeditated thing to go back to the two blue ring ones?
No, because the last 3 times I've played, I've used Ty's darts. So he took the last ones off me and gave me they ones. I went, well, might as well try them. It can't get any worse, And they felt a bit better in the hands, The 24s, I think they were. Felt a bit better, but you never know.
Does it frustrate you, because you've been one of the greatest the sport's ever seen, and at times watching it, it seems that you get frustrated on stage because it's not happening?
I know it's not happening because I'm not putting the work in, and it's simple as that. You've got to. I never used to, but I was constantly playing darts. Even 4 and 5 nights of the week, I was either doing exhibitions or a tournament. So that's all I was doing, was playing darts. Now, no, it's so I get frustrated because you think you should be able to still do it. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, But I just know if I can get myself motivated back on the dartboards, then who knows?
Is the Premier League still for you, or is this a young man's tournament now, the Premier League?
I mean, it was good, but to play in it while you're struggling, and it kind of got to me a bit. Don't get me wrong, before COVID and that, you could stick me in a hotel for 3-4 weeks. It would not bother me. See now, 2 nights, I'm pulling my hair out. I'm absolutely struggling with it. But like I say, I've went from living in hotels for the last 20 odd years to being at home, and I've loved being at home. I've seen the kids grow up. I've done things with the kids. Take Ty to the football, take the wee one to school. It's something that I've never done.
I was going to say, I remember interviewing you, one of the very first ones I ever did, and you said that you missed your first 2 growing up because you were chasing the dream, the ranking points, the money. I'm guessing learning from your mistakes is something that you didn't want to do again with Shaylee and Ty.
That was it. Like I say, with COVID and lockdown, I mean, it was terrible what happened with the COVID, but just being at home, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Like I say, out in the garden, kids were off school and that, we were out in the garden, we were doing a bit of gardening or playing football with them, or bouncy castle up for them to play. I just absolutely loved it, and I think that's what kind of killed me off.
Having said that, you've obviously made it clear that you're not going to do everything because you are going to pick and choose. You haven't done the Euro Tour, which we won't go into because we know it's never going to happen. But right now, can you still be a top pro and pick and choose?
I don't think so. I think I'm going to get caught out very shortly. But the way I look at it is over the last 5 years, I've never done a European tour, and I've still managed to stay in the top 10. So all that ranking money they get for a European goes on to their overall. So I've managed to scrape a few pennies together to keep me up there,
Speaking of those pennies, there's 2 tournaments, the Match Play and the World Championships, that recently you seem to have done very well in. Those 2 just seem to flick a switch because they're, in terms of ranking money, they are the 2 highest value ones. Did that just flick a switch subconsciously?
Well, Blackpool was never one of my favourites, probably still isn't one of my favourite tournaments. the World Championships, like Barney said, well, if you can't get up for this tournament, you know, it's there's something wrong with you. But as soon as you mention Ali Pali, World Championships, even if you're playing terrible, you can up it a little bit. You know, I mean, I nicked a few games last year at it, but you know, I still got through. So it's just that, it's the World Championships, you've got to try. And hopefully from October up to then, I'll be on the board quite a bit more.
That little smirk in your eye, you still enjoy causing the top boys problems though, don't you?
I just laugh and I'm not even playing darts. This is what I'm, you know, I smirk to myself, you know, I'm losing 6-5, but I throw that once a week, a Thursday night. And it showed, trust me, but these boys should actually be spanking me 6-0 every night. You know, I nicked the odd leg. There was a few games that I had chances they made a mess of, but my game's no there. You know, these boys are different class. You know, they're playing in and out every week. You know, doing all the tours, the European tour. It's killing them. They're knackered. You know, if you see the state of them, I think they're on the road now for about the 6-7 weeks. You know, it's hard going.
We've seen that as well because there's more injuries creeping in. There's players getting ill. Obviously, Michael needs an operation. James was sadly taken ill. Peter's been ill. Gezzy's been injured. Is the schedule too much now, do you think?
I couldn't do it. Put it that way. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do what these lads do. You know, they're finishing on a Thursday night, the Premier League. They're up or straight to the airport. First flight out to wherever. Play again. Straight back in. Back to the Premier League. Hats off to them. Hats off to them.
Gary, pleasure as always, and we love speaking to you. And say the Flying Scotsman here in New York looking to cause an upset.
Yeah, we'll see.
Gary, thanks very much, mate.
Just up.